Hi, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of People in the News in North Texas. My guest today is District Attorney's Office Criminal Investigator Brian Wolf. Thank you for being here, Brian.
Thank you.
And we're going to get right into this because it's about scams and frauds and such. So if you would, please tell our viewers some of the scams used by con men to defraud the public.
Sure. Starting really back in 2007, the District Attorney, Paul Johnson, wanted to expand the Special Crimes Unit, and one of the things that came to that forefront was trying to educate the public, be more proactive rather than reactive when it came to financial crimes. More specifically, fraud and scams that target specific types of folks, mainly the elderly and some youth as well. So over the years, it's kind of developed and evolved over the last, I guess now 12 years, and we've seen some current trends over those years, and a lot of it has to deal with certain trends that would include check washing, prizes and sweepstakes, dating scams, calls from the IRS or law enforcement, people reporting to be from those agencies when they're not, contractor fraud,
Yeah.
and then investment scams as well.
And many of these victims are contacted through the internet,
Yes, sir.
correct? How does an internet scam seduce people? I mean, they contact someone online to romance them or something of that matter?
Sure. There's, as far as the internet scams, what we've seen is the emails themselves will ask for personal information or identifiers, or want you to give them your credit card number or social security number, or let you, we had a deal right now with a lot of the shipping companies where the scammers will send out fictitious emails pretending to be a certain business and saying, hey, you've got a package ready, but we need to confirm who you are. Please, provide us this personal information, and then we'll make sure you get your package. Of course, it's a total scam, and then they in turn take that information and use it for their gain.
So people are still naive enough, though, to send money through the mail or send money to people they never met. And how do they send it? Is it like they send it in checks, credit card information, wire transfers, all of the above?
Right, sure. So what we've seen is, and what we tell people is, be very wary of people that either contact you by phone or email wanting you to send them money for any reason.
That should be the first clue, right there.
Absolutely.
Right? They want something from you.
Absolutely, right.
So
That's correct.
that should connect with every person of good sense, that this person I never met wants me to send them money.
Right, correct.
So, okay, that right there should turn up. And do these scams work on people of both genders and all ages?
It runs the gamut from people that are wealthy to people that aren't. What we see a lot is scams targeting the elderly now, and we often get the question, well, why that group so much? And it's very interesting to note, but 85% of the assets, liquid assets in the United States, are controlled by seniors. So
Yeah.
people over 62. They're also the fastest growing population in the United States, and
Really?
approximately 1 in 20 will be a victim of financial crime. And the thing is that what we've really come to see is that it's so underreported. People are embarrassed, to talk about, hey, I got taken as a victim. But these are things that we need to know as law enforcement in order to educate the public and then combat this type of crime going forward. And one of our biggest tools is education. In other words, being proactive rather than reactive, because it's a lot easier to get out and educate the public as to what to look for versus taking a phone call once somebody's been a victim, and then it turns out we're unable to work a case because these types of cases are very difficult to investigate and prosecute.
Yeah, and you and District Attorney Paul Johnson did a marvelous job last week at
Thank you.
the Denton Women's Club meeting.
Yes, sir.
Out at that luncheon. And that's what made me want to have you come over to talk about this, because I was amazed. I mean, I'm a former cop and I've seen a lot of scams myself back, but we didn't have the internet back then.
Right.
We didn't have this mass communication. And some of the things you told us about, told that group, that people go bankrupt. They'll send all their money to people, and they'll even take out loans to send to some of these scammers. It's amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. What are the penalties for these type of scams?
A lot of it will deal with identity theft, and then theft is to, the dollar amount will depend on the level of penalty, but it could range from anywhere from a state jail felony to a first-degree felony based on the
really?
value amount. Yes, sir. And a lot of these are felony amounts because they will, continue. They won't stop. They'll just victimize other people until they're.
And is the conviction rate pretty high on these people?
As far as if locally they are, unfortunately, what we see is probably 80 to 90% of these scams originate overseas, which is virtually impossible to prosecute.
That's right. I was going to ask you about that next, but that's good. They do come from outside the country, and people will still send the money. I mean, from
Right.
wherever it is. Is it possible that a lot of the people who are scammed are too embarrassed to call the police or make a report on this, because after a while they see that they've been rooked completely and they're probably ashamed to talk about it?
Right, it's true, and we have seen that. There is that factor, as well as with some of the younger victims that we have, which are, we talk a lot about the elderly or the senior population, but college students are a prime target
Really?
for these individuals, especially with identity theft, because they're on their own now. They're out and about. They're on their way to college. They're experiencing new things, and they're trusting of people. And people come up to them and say, "Hey, I need your social security number for this, or your information for a giveaway or something like that." And they provide that, and then they turn around, and then for the next 7 years, they're dealing with trying to clean up their credit, dealing with identity theft issues and that type of thing. So we see it from very old to very young, and in all realms of.
And many people are looking for love, so to speak. They're looking for
Yes.
companionship, and
The dating scams.
Yeah, so those dating scams, they get people to send them money because, maybe they'll say, I'd like to meet with you, but I need the fare to fly there or whatever, it's a plane fare or something, and they're amazing at how they can con people to actually send them money, and then that doesn't work. Or they get that money and they want a little more. Then they
Sure.
come back for a little more. So what should people do when they think they're being defrauded?
Right. To get back real quick, what you're saying about the dating scams, the internet and the online dating scams, Federal Trade Commission just came out with a report last week. $143 million each year is reported to law enforcement as being fraudulent in regards to specifically dating scams. And then you extrapolate that by only 1 in 44 incidents is reported. So you can imagine it's on a much bigger scale.
Oh, amazing.
But going back to what your question was, is that as far as
Well, should they call a number like this, for example, or
yes, no, absolutely. And what we like to say is, if you ever, there's no question that's a bad question, right? So what we want to do is, if you have any questions or concerns or feel like you're a victim of fraud, please give us a call, because the number here that's our direct line to our Special Crimes Unit, 940-349-2725. And I will be more than happy to talk with any individual that has any questions or concerns about any kind of thing that they receive via email, or phone call, anything along that
And I'll
line.
have that information in the written portion as well. So if I get a call or an email telling me I just won the lottery, but before I receive the millions of dollars, I must send a check for the taxes.
Right.
I should probably not do that.
Well, like with the old adage, if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Probably
The-
is,
the
right.
truth, the fact is, if it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true.
Well, Brian, we're being grabbed by the clock, I see, so I just want to thank you very much for what you do and for informing the public about these scams, because a lot of people are terribly ripped off and they're ruined. Thank you so much. for
Yes,
being
sir.
here.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.